Hey guys, I'm back. Before I get into part 2 of my career series, I just need to let you guys know right now where this necklace is from. It's gorgeous. This necklace is from the amazing lady at Style Your Behavior. Right, I'm going to leave all the details down below, the Instagram, the website. Secondly, my jumper. Let me stand up for you guys. I feel so like relaxed but fashionable. Like, you know those girls on Instagram that always look nice, and it could be the most simple thing that they're wearing, like a jumper like this, but it's the details, like with the knot. And this jumper is from a brand called Lasula, so I will leave their details down below as well. They sent me a few things actually, and I'm really excited to wear. So I'm trying to think back to where I left off with part 1, and thank you so much guys, because you guys have really you helped me out a lot. You asked loads of questions, you talked, you told me some of your stories. I love that a lot of you did follow your the careers that you planned to from uni, and a lot of you didn't, and a lot of you felt that it was a blessing that you didn't. I'm with you on that. But it's not the same for everyone. And I just want to add a disclaimer. I am by no means trying to encourage people not to go to uni. I do believe that uni is good. Not necessarily good for, the real world, but it's good. It's good in character building. It's good in growing and becoming independent and learning things and having to cook for yourself. Yeah, I'm not encouraging people not to be educated. I believe that you should be educated, but everyone's journey is different, and it doesn't make you better or less than somebody if you are not educated or if you are. Just saying. Now, I left off when I said that I got a contract job. Yes, so I got a contract job, which was a contract for a year, and it was at my company that I left the end of last year. And I said that it was a company that I was familiar with, LexisNexis, that I had used during uni, and it was amazing. Okay, let's just get to the point. I loved being there. It was a new challenge. It was a new world. It was product. It was a bit of digital marketing. It was search. It was all of these things that go on behind the scenes of websites or of products and services that I just had no idea was going on. I didn't know people worked in this field. I didn't even know. I thought it was like robots that did this stuff. It was difficult for me to go back to the same place each week because I'd come from quite a few months of being in different places each week, or a few days here, a few days there, and getting paid weekly. Now, I was getting paid weekly actually. I'm trying to remember, it feels like so long ago. The first year I was there, I was getting paid weekly because I was there through agency. I wasn't a direct employee of the company. I was an employee of the agency, outsourced to the company, if that makes sense, guys. In my first year of working there, I was trying to get onto the property market, so I was trying to prepare my finances, so I was saving everything. Yes, I was getting paid weekly, but your girl was saving so hard. The most money I had been getting paid, and don't get me wrong, like I was getting paid decent, for just coming out of uni. That particular job was the most out of all the contracted jobs that I had. So I was able to save a lot, and I was also paying where I was living as well. So yes, I was looking for a property, and I knew that I was going to do it because to me that was my purpose, that was my plan. I'd been planning this for a few years now, whilst at uni and after uni, and I had been saving for a long time by then. So I knew that it was definitely on the cards. I just didn't know that I was in the right position in terms of regular income, being on a contract, and I didn't know if my salary was enough at the time. So I remember setting up a appointment with my mortgage broker, and him telling me, okay, let's work out what your yearly salary would be if you were on, a salary, and let's figure this out. Let's see how much you can borrow for a mortgage. Let's see how much more you need to save, if you need to save any more. And put it this way, it was a very quick and to the point meeting where he told me that I need to start looking for a place. These are the mortgage offers I can get, and I potentially have enough salary, right? So this was towards the end of that year that I was working there, and I don't know who's messaging me. October, November, maybe even December. It was late that year. But I kept saying to him, I've been hearing that my contract is going to be extended there. I just don't know when it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if my salary is going to be the same. I was assuming it was going to be the same, but I was just going to get extended the same way through the agency. What ended up happening is that I was extended for another year, but the company decided they didn't want to go through the agency anymore. They wanted me. They wanted me to be a direct employer for them, but still on a fixed term contract. But for me at the time, that was great because I had a bit of commitment issues. As you have heard already, I've gone from one job to another through retail and with temping. So a year was already long to me, but it was just like, okay, cool, they're not taking me on for too long, so my options are open. Obviously for a while I was prodding on this for a few months with managers and senior people, because I knew that I needed to have a job in order to buy my property, right? I needed to have a regular income, at least, you know, in the next month, year, or 6 months, or whatever it was. I needed to have proof of that and show my mortgage broker so he could then find me a good mortgage, and I was a trustworthy applicant, basically. So I was prodding and prodding and prodding, and with a lot of businesses, guys, and this is something, if you're, you know, you're starting out in this world, they can work really, really slowly. Like, things you think are really simple are not that simple, because they have to go through HR, they have to go through this, they have to go through funding and all these things at the end of the year. It's like budget and capex, and do we have enough money? Can we afford to employ these people on a contract again, or do we get rid of them and then spread other people we have thinly around the company? Like, these are all the things that affect whether you get a job, whether you get stayed on for longer, whether your salary goes up or not. Like, so it seemed so simple to me at the time, but it was so much longer than I thought it was going to be. But we got there in the end. My manager pulled myself and my colleague into a room, and she was just like to me, okay guys, we want to take you guys as employees to us, so we're going to get rid of the agency, and we are going to start your salary at blah blah blah. Whoa. It was a shocker to me, because at the time this salary was definitely not something I thought I could get, because of knowing the legal industry so well at the time and thinking like that would take me quite a few years to get to that point. I was stunned. I remember coming out of that meeting and calling my mum, calling my dad. So I had booked another appointment with the mortgage broker that weekend, a new proposed salary to recalculate things. So it bumped up what I could borrow by thousands, like tens of thousands. It just went up. Things just really transformed for me there, because then he was just like, you're ready to go, start looking for a property, here's your mortgage in principle, blah blah blah. And this is not about a property video, but this is part of my career, because to be honest with you guys, my career affected that, and that then affected where I'm at now. So buying my property, yes, it is a big part of my career, to be really honest with you. For many it's not, it's just one of the things that they own or they have, and they get on with their career. But my career, my property, the lines are really blurring as time goes on, so I feel like this is a really substantial thing to talk about. And breathe. So I was able to do that. I was able to buy my property and blah blah blah. So I ended up having the second year there on a contract, and then I was extended another year. So 3 years, when it should have just been 1 through the agency. It ended up being 1 year through the agency and 2 years direct employee on a fixed term contract. So when I say to you guys that, you know, God really put it all together, like he really did, I generally don't believe, like, don't get me wrong, I was stressing. There were times where I would stress about, you know, am I going to be able to even afford having the flat? Like, yes, I've got enough money to buy it, but realistically, can I even afford that? And the travel, being out of London too, and, you know, paying for everything myself, can I even afford it? And then just like that, just in the nick of time, God told me through somebody that everything was going to be fine. Just by that person telling me what my new salary was, what I didn't ask for, I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be exactly the same, but just with perks from the company now, like a travel card being paid for a year in advance and all that stuff. All I was waiting for is to hear, yes, it's going to be extended, so I could say, yes, I've got another year contract, so I can pay my mortgage for another year. And there's fluff going everywhere. This is what happens when you cut fabric in your house every day. There's just fluff and stuff everywhere. So I can't really tell you about how to negotiate a pay rise, because I've never ever asked for a pay rise before. It happened, it just came to me. I can sort of talk about pushing for what you want, like an extension on a contract, because like I said before, things aren't as simple as you think they are, and people forget, and people still have jobs that they're doing, and their job is not focused on making sure you have a job. To be really honest with you, their job is focused on making sure they have a job. So you have to be the person that's pushing. You have to be the person sending emails, finding out information and inquiring about things and looking at your contract. There's only a certain amount of people that are going to have that time to really explain stuff to you. Other than that, they expect you to know things, or they expect you to find things out yourself. And so that's what I had to do in order to make sure I could buy my property. Now let's park that to a side. Where I am today. Okay, so on December 30th, on December 30th, 2017, my contract was supposed to end, and about maybe July, I knew that I didn't want to stay for another year. Nothing against the company, I absolutely loved it, but I just felt like 3 years was a long time for me to stay in one place. And you know, I wanted to develop, I wanted to move on up in my career. I just felt a bit stagnant, and this is what can happen a lot of the time when you're in full-time work and you're working a 9 to 5. You can feel stagnant if you're not constantly developing yourself, going on courses or moving up in the career chain. So my mum a lot of the time would be like, you have something so great, you know? And yes, I did, but if something's just not enough for you, it's not enough for you. If you don't feel like you're working at your best, then it's time to do something. If you don't feel like you're giving your best, then it's time to do something about it. If you don't feel passionate enough anymore, then it's time to do something about it. And so I knew that whole year that that's what I was going to do, but obviously I had a mortgage, so I couldn't make rash decisions and just be like, I'm out, and have a gap of not having a job. I knew I had to go from one to the next. So from about July, I was looking, especially because there was a lot of redundancies and things happening that really was scary. You know, being someone that had just had my home for about a year now, by then or so, I needed to pay a mortgage, guys. I wasn't at home where I could just tell my mum, I'm not getting paid, and she'll give me a bly and be like, okay, I'll help you out, and then as soon as you do get paid, you can help out. No, the mortgage lender is not going to be understanding about my situation. So there was a lot of panic and there was a lot of eagerness to sort of look for jobs. And so I was going on interviews, and luckily I had an amazing manager who helped me so much. She was encouraging. She knew where I was at. I was just at the beginning of my career, and I really had to be happy and passionate in order for me to, do my best in a job. And she would understand if I needed to go to an interview. She'd ask me how things are going, if I needed help with interview prep and all of that. She was amazing. Eventually, a whole year later, I managed to get a job. I went on loads of interviews. Interviews went really well. I had different stages. I got through to the final stages, and something just was not clicking. And I got through to third stages, but there was always someone better with a bit more experience. So that is what's gonna happen along the way, guys. The beginning of my career was very smooth, but this part, I've never, ever had to work so hard to get to where I am in terms of a job. But it was good, because now I'm really grateful for what that's taught me, and I'm really grateful for where I'm at now, because like the same thing that happened with my property, I was looking for properties and I was getting no's all the time, or people were outbidding me and all that stuff. I ended up getting the best of the bunch at the end. Generally feel like I have got the best of the bunch at the end. When you are believing in yourself, an employer is going to see that in you. They're going to see your potential. They're going to see and know that you're educated enough, you're experienced enough, and you can learn on the job. And as long as you press forward in those things and you try your best, they will have no reason, or they won't doubt their decision. And so my job now, being a month there now, is to make sure he doesn't ever doubt his decision in choosing me over choosing someone else that may have had more experience. Responsibility is there now, whereas before I didn't have much responsibility. The responsibility that I was constantly fighting for, I didn't have. And now I feel like I have a little bit too much. It's a little bit scary, but I know that it's all stretching, it's all growing pains, and I know that I'll get there. And so now I am constantly challenged. That's where I'm at with my job, my traditional career. Now, outside of my traditional career, I am doing YouTube, just about. I am running a business, and I'm being Jade. So I guess that's the end of this part 2 series. I don't know if I talked about enough, but I just wanted to get you guys up to speed on where I am now, so that I can now next talk about YouTube and the business, and then answer some of your questions and give you guys tips. So I hope that was worth the wait. I know you guys waited a long time. Camera's about to die, so I will say bye and love you and leave you, and see you in part 3 of the career series.